good morning, good afternoon, good day. Wherever you are, I'm greeting you, and I hope and I pray that you are staying safe, taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, and taking care of your loved ones, and not being selfish by not being safe. Stay safe, we're still in a pandemic, and don't go out if you don't need to go out. And if you can work from home, why not? Stay with your family. Increase the bond. It's kind of good. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about a continuation of the series, my medical school journey. How was my medical school journey? How did it feel studying in China? Firstly, I would say that one of the things that helped me into settling well studying in China is that first, I did 1 year of 2 years of university in South Africa, the University of the Witwatersrand. So I sort of had the understanding of how college life is, how being independent feels like. And I went to boarding school for most of my life, so I've been an independent person. I've been a lone wolf, but with the exception of the amazing people I've come across in my life, that showed me that I don't have to always be a lone wolf. So regardless of that, yeah, being a student at the University of the Witwatersrand helped me become a better medical student. First of all, at Wits, I did calculus, physiology, anatomy, most of the courses that one would do when they're pre-med. So I did those courses. Then I went into first year of medical school. When I got to first year of medical school in China, I found that the first year you're doing the same course that I did. So it was very, very easy for me during my first year. I was chilling. I had to do calculus, chemistry, computer science, all those things that I already did. So it was easy for me to focus on other things. But one of the things that I regret not focusing on was studying Chinese. I knew I'm not good in languages, but I didn't give it as much attention as I should have. And that's my biggest regret. Because now, I know Chinese, but not that well. I can hear, but when I have to respond, it's a little bit of an issue. But I can have a small social conversation, and I can get by, I can survive. So during my first year, I did all those courses. That's the year that I was making friends, rather trying to find myself in a new country. Obviously, you meet people in first year. You guys, I don't know if you're friends or you're just together because all of you just arrived in China, all of you don't know the place, all of you have no friends. So the friends that you meet they're your family. That's the ones that you stay with. But yeah, that's what first year was all about for me. Then I went to second year. That's when we're still doing more of science stuff, not going to hospital, doing a lot of theory work. And I will also just put a video up here of the courses that we do every year in China, specifically in my university. I'll put a link up here for you guys. And during my third year, that's the year where things became, when you know the surrounding, you are very comfortable, starting to be more involved in activities around campus, starting to be involved in decision making. That's when third year, that's when I started getting in touch with photography, videography, all those things. Because I felt like as a medical student, I do medicine, I go to hospitals, the plan is to save people. And then what? Does it actually fulfill my heart? Do I feel fulfilled at the end of the day? Yes, I do, but I also wanted something more, something that could take my mind off. So studying, doing photography and videography and graphic design actually did that. So I got involved in the school magazine. That's when I started So got involved, started all that, and I started enjoying it so much. It was so good. As much as you're not focusing on medical school, but you're still a medical student and you're making sure that you pass and you don't fail and you understand what you're studying. And me being me, I'm not really a planner. I met friends that actually helped me understand how to manage my time, how to understand the kind of person I am, how to understand myself because I'm a visual person. So firstly, understand the kind of person you are, understand how you learn, understand how to balance your time. You don't need to be a planner, but you need to know what to do at a certain time. For example, what I didn't plan, but I always had a goal at the end of the day. I'll tell myself, today I have to make sure that I studied physiology. Physiology, I studied chapter 1. Pathophysiology, I studied this. Histology, I studied this. Calculus, I did this. And also at the end of the day, I did some questions. And also I have to make sure at the end of the day, I have done one thing that's not medically related. I've done a hobby of mine, and I got to chat with family and friends. Because when you're away, you really do that. So that's how I juggled third year. Fourth year of medical school, that's when you start going out, having your own friends, having your own circle. But fourth year is tricky because it's almost the end, but yet you just finished the beginning. I don't know if that makes sense. You're close to the end, but you're not at the end. A lot can happen. So fourth year, yeah, still chilling, finding a job, finding side hustles. So got jobs online, taking pictures, doing some graphic designs and also some tutoring lessons. That's the year where you build your character. You become the person that you want to be once you finish medical school. Not specifically that, yeah, I know what I'm gonna do, but you start going into a direction that you'd want to see yourself in the next couple of years, in the next couple of months. So that's what I did. I started getting involved into business, trying to get connections, trying to secure an education that's not medical. So that's when I started to invest more in learning photography, videography, and photography again. Yeah, and I also started getting out there, trying to get the word out that this is what I'm doing on a daily basis. Hire me, you understand. Fifth year, this is basically the last year. Fifth year, it's so quick. It's like this. You get to fifth year, you have, I think you have 4 months of semester 1 and 2 to 3 months of semester 2. In all that time, you have to know where you're going for internship. Are you doing it in China? Are you doing it out of China? You also have to get your internship place ready. You have to get all the documents needed for internship. You have to study. You have to make sure you don't fail. If you have failed, you have to make sure all your supplementary courses are done. You have to also make sure that you know your stuff, like you're ready for a different atmosphere, a different world. So you're ready for change, but at the same time you're studying for the exam. So it was a little bit tricky, but yeah, that's what fifth year is about. Then sixth year, you're not in China, you're outside, or if you choose to be in China, you're in China. That's the year where you get to understand life. You fill in the gaps. If you didn't know how to cannulate, that's the year you learn how to cannulate. If you didn't know how to take bloods, that's the year you take how to take bloods. If you didn't know how to do certain things, that is the year to do all those things. So that's what fifth year is all about. And sorry, that's what sixth year is all about. And also trying to understand what's gonna happen to your life in the next 5 to 10 years, having a plan. That's when relationships start coming in. That's when your life, your family, where you're gonna stay, what you want in life, and that's where you start to build character building, but not for school, for the outside world. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, as I'm gonna continue talking about my pathway through medical school and so forth. Hope you guys enjoyed this video again and have a good one. If you haven't watched the first video on the pathway to medical school, click here, you'll find the video, and hope you guys have a good one, and don't forget, stay safe and be good to everyone. Cheers. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is staying at home, being safe and taking care of themselves. We are still in a pandemic, so let's try to take care of ourselves and our loved ones. And to all the healthcare workers, including myself, let's continue to be safe as we treat our patients, and also so that we can go back to our loved ones every day. Okay, welcome back to my channel. My name is PADIMA, known as Dr. PADIMA, and my channel is usually about coffee, medicine and photography. So if you're interested in those, this is the place to be. So today I'm going to be continuing my journey to medicine, my journey in medical school and how it went about. The first video that I did was about how I left my country and went to China to pursue my medical degree. The second video was about studying in China, how the experience was. And today we're going to be talking about finances, working in medical school, and how to juggle those. It can be hard being a medical student, so how did I do it? How did I try to juggle everything in medical school? First, I'm not a planner, I'm very bad at planning. So I had to find other methods. So during my first year, I tried to do all this working and finances, and it didn't work. I was still new in the country, didn't know anything, and I just said, my friend, it won't work. So I continued being a medical student. As much as first year of medical school was easy for me, I was just not ready to juggle both. So I continued medical school, made friends, started being connected, having a system where I know people who know people, and it kind of worked well. During my second year, that's when I started exploring my hobbies, trying to find what kind of hobbies I like and what kind of things I can do to make money on the side. So I realized that I'm enjoying photography, of which I used to enjoy way before medical school, and I'm also enjoying photography. And an opportunity arose to go into graphic design for the university magazine. I was like, okay, let me take a leap of faith and go into these things. So what I would do, I would go to classes from 7:20 a.m. in the morning. During lunch around 11:50, I'll go to the magazine meetings and just get involved and also perfect my craft. And after lunch, I'll go back to classes. In the evening, I'll do all the responsibilities that I have for the school magazine, and I got better at it. So I'll know that after classes, what I'll do, I get home, cook. After cooking, I study. After studying, I run whatever I have to do for the magazine. And then after that, yeah, I sleep. So that's what I'll do during my second year. Then when I got to third year, I came across friends who advised me that I can actually do tutoring of anything that you know. So you just go online, do online tutorials, teach people something new. There's so many platforms that you can go to and teach people. Can either be English, can either be photography, videography, can either be just literally anything. It can even be teaching someone how to read, how to do DIY stuff. So I got into that. So now my plate has increased. I go to class, I come back, cook,
study, make sure that I study. I do my stuff for the university magazine, then I do my tutorial stuff, then I go to sleep. So now that my plate has increased, I have less time to sleep. So I'll sleep around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. 6 o'clock I will wake up, then during lunch I'll take a nap, and the cycle continues. So those are the things that I'll do to get money in medical school. And also how to finance your medical school. You can actually, if you're good at managing your time, like how I would try to do, I would tell myself I make sure that as much as I don't plan, but I'll be organized. I'll make sure that, okay, make sure that you did 1 hour of tutorials for some extra money. You did 1 hour of design work and editing pictures for the school magazine, and also 1 hour for your side hustles for the pictures that you took for people, and also 30 minutes before you sleep for poaching new clients, also developing my personal brand. And I'll do those things. Get into social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, try to make my pages look good so I can attract people. Then I'll do those things, and then I'll go to sleep. So I'll make sure that I get to do all of that before the end of the day. Even if I have to sleep late, I'll do that. So now getting into financing medical school. The first and most, I think everyone knows this, like if you're going to medical school, what you can do, you can either pay it for yourself. If you find it hard paying for yourself, the second thing is to find a scholarship. If you can find your scholarship before you even start medical school, for example, if you're studying in China, you can go into the CSC scholarship, Chinese Scholarship Council. You can get a scholarship with them. Mostly, I think one of the requirements is for you to study in Chinese. If you're willing to do that, you can do that. It pays the bills and you get to come out with a degree. All you have to do is put in the work. And another way to get a scholarship is from a university. If you're good in sports, arts, you can get a sports scholarship, you can get an arts and crafts scholarship, and you can also get a scholarship, an excellence scholarship, where every year you can get a couple of grants to decrease your university bills, which can come in handy, especially if you're having troubles paying for your fees. And another method is paying it yourself, which is from the hustles that I mentioned before, the side hustles, of which it's hard, but you can make it, and you can make it work as long as you manage your time wisely. So guys, to summarize everything, finances in medical school, get a side hustle, use your hobbies to make money, try something new, and go online. Take advantage of the online world. People might laugh at you like, what are you doing online? But look at the bigger picture. It might put food on the table, it might pay the rent, and it might take you to some nice travels around the world with that money. And the fourth thing that we talk about is paying for medical school, which is scholarships, self-sponsorship, or using your side hustles to pay for medical school. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a good one, and I hope you guys continue to stay safe. And if you haven't watched all my channels on the journey to medical school, here's the video up here, and hope you guys have a good one. Cheers.
Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about technology, tech that you need in medical school. Not specifically needfully, but yeah, you can do this kind of tech. But first, today I'm going to be trying some cinnamon tea from Woolworth. Hopefully it tastes good. Okay, like I was saying, we are going to be talking about tech. So in medical school, I think the most important tech that you need, just like everybody, it's a cell phone. So I'm using the iPhone 7 Plus, which I use for almost everything. When I go to class, this is what I use to take pictures, just for my daily life, just like everyone, you need a phone. So this is a boring kind of tech thing. The next tech that we need in medical school is a laptop, and I'm currently using the MacBook Pro 2015 Retina Pro, which is just like everyone, you can use any laptop. So for medical school, you need a laptop. And the next piece of tech that I'll be talking about is my favorite, the iPad Pro. This is my favorite tech. This is my life. This, including this, is my favorite and most important gadget that I use in medical school. If this is my head, this is my neck, I can't live without this too. So basically, your iPad and your pencil is basically your textbook and your pen, your notes and your pen, pencil, eraser. So if you're into go paperless, this is your best friend and you can go out with this. But if you can't afford this and you have to choose between an iPad and a pencil and a laptop, I would recommend that you go for a laptop, because with a laptop it comes very handy when you have to type your notes, when you have to move around with it, and when you have to share information. Your laptop is the most important thing, regardless of the make. As long as you have a laptop, that's the most important gadget for you in medical school or even in university. I love this too. Okay, so the third gadget that you need is a camera. So you don't really need it, but say you're in the first year of medical school and you want to capture all your memories. I actually invested in a camera in my third year of medical school, the Canon 700D. It's an entry-level camera. It's not really the best in the market, but I was able to capture high-quality images throughout medical school, and I had memories, videos, and I actually got to start creating content and building my craft using the camera. Now I can say I'm a professional videographer and photographer, all because of what? All because of having a camera in medical school. I have memories, all because of the camera that I had. I had memories from second year, third year on my phone, but they were not really high quality. So with the camera that I got, I was able to get new memories with better quality, better camera, and I get to look back. I was like, wow, this was me in first year, this was me in second year, this was me in third year. So it's not really an important gadget to have, but it's a lovely gadget to have for yourself in medical school. And the third gadget that one should have, it's a hard disk. A hard disk is very important to have because this is my life. Like all the notes, all the important documents that I have, it's either I have them on the cloud or I have them on the hard disk. Recently my hard disk crashed and I was really sad because most of my work was here, but I could do without it because I have most of my stuff on the cloud. But if you don't have internet, this is your go-to, this is your way. So get yourself a hard disk. I'm currently using the W2 Elements hard disk, which is a very, very good hard disk, especially when something happens to it, you can easily get your information back. So I'd recommend you to get one, not sponsored. And the third device, the next gadget that I would recommend you to get is a projector. I actually bought a projector, and I bought one in my fourth year of medical school because I was moving in and out of apartments, and the idea of carrying a TV everywhere with me was just a hassle. But with the projector, I actually can just move around with it anywhere of the light, and we have a nice time enjoying movies. And even when we have notes or doing question papers, we can actually just outlay them on the projector, and we all sit around and have our pencils and pens and look at the projector while doing our worksheets and question papers from the projector. And with that said, I'm not saying that you need a TV, it's just a preference. I prefer a projector to a TV because it's convenient, and at the same time it's cheaper for me. So if you're like me and you are about convenience, that's your go-to. And with the projector, what I also have is a lamp. I think I have 6 of this around the house, of which all I do, it goes with a remote. So when I want the light to be a certain way, I'll just use the remote and switch it on or off, or I can even go according to minutes. If I wanted to switch off after 10 minutes, I just choose for it to go off after 10 minutes. And with this, it's nice because when you're a student and you're reading in bed and you're just tired throughout the day, what you want to do is you just want to be able to close the book and just go to sleep without the hassle of having to stand up and go switch off the light. So with this, what I can do is and the lights go off, then I switch it back on, or I change the colors or the brightness. And with having a projector, what you can do is have the lights around, because the projector needs a dark space. So you can have the projector and have the lights around the house dimmed, and you have a sort of an ambience for your movie night or your study night on the projector. So I would also recommend that. The next gadget that I have, it's a power bank. I know this looks small, but it's really powerful. I can charge my iPhone 3 to 4 times throughout the day using this, using one charge of this. So I usually use the Pixel power bank, which is usually I think 20,000 watts, and that usually takes me the whole week, and I just have to charge it once. So that's really convenient. But the other one is heavy. This one is user friendly. I can just carry it in my pocket or carry it to class any day, anytime, anywhere. And my last piece of gadget is my earphones. This is my baby. When you're going to the library and you want to study and you want it to be extra quiet, I know the library is quiet, but if you want it to be super quiet, what you can do is get yourself some earphones, or preferably headphones that are noise cancelling, so you get to concentrate on your studies and everything is going to be awesome. And just like me, I enjoy studying with some classical music, and I also have a Spotify playlist for studying that I will link in the bio for those who are interested. And basically that's the gadgets that I need for medical school. I know these other small gadgets that one could have. For example, I prefer having an external keyboard away from my laptop, an external mouse, and those two are things, because usually when you're working on the laptop, sometimes it gets really hot. So when it gets hot, what you do is just move away from the laptop and start using it. And you start using a mouse, an external mouse and an external keyboard. That really comes in handy when you're studying long hours and your laptop becomes on. Well, those are the gadgets that I use in medical school. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time. And I'll link all the recommended gadgets in the bio and alternatives for where you can get them if you're in different parts of the world. And I hope you guys try this cinnamon tea. It's really, really nice. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. Till next time. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are good. Hope everyone is safe. Hope everyone is social distancing and doing the things, sanitizing, washing your hands and staying home. Don't go out if you don't need to go out. Come on guys, let's keep this thing closed in and let's just not go out if we don't have to, and hopefully a lot of restrictions will go down and the curve will be going where we want it to go so that we can start traveling and enjoying ourselves out there and life can go back to normal. Today I'm going to be talking about internship, of which is basically electives. 2 weeks ago I had a video where I was speaking how to choose where to go to do your internships/electives, and I'm gonna put the link up here. Okay, so internship, when I first arrived in Botswana, I looked for a place, I got a place not far from the hospital. Yeah, it was so convenient, you could even walk there and everything was chilled. Once I was settled in, I was like, okay, Monday, going to the hospital, we're gonna check out the hospital, see how everything is, see where the departments are, plus this and this. It wouldn't even take lab codes, nothing. Just going there, just, you know, to scout the place so that the next day or the next week we can start. Then when you arrive there, the administration are like, okay, guys, let's go. Internal medicine, that's where you wanna start, right? Let's just introduce you to the people, to the HODs, to the system, and everything will be sorted. And after that, you'll go home and do whatever you want. Then it happened that when we go to the morning meeting, they're like, guys, okay, introduce yourselves, introduce ourselves. They're like, who are you? Where do you wanna go to? Where do you come from? Which year are you in? We did that. And why are you here? What do you want from us? And yeah, I explained everything. And then when it all started, they were like, okay, so you are going to green team, you are going to blue team, let's go, let's start. And that was literally how the first day went about. It didn't end up being a day where you actually go and say, okay, I'm seeing, okay, I like this department, let me go see the people, let me walk around, let me scout. It wasn't like that. Just got thrown straight into the deep end. It was crazy, guys, like it was crazy. But you know, my first day was actually chilled. I had a Chinese doctor, which was kind of nice. And you know, when you have a Chinese doctor and we speak in a bit of Chinese, my broken Chinese, and he was telling me how things are done. Okay, the Chinese guy was the specialist, the senior medical officer was not around, so it was just me, the intern, and the specialist, the Chinese specialist. So went around, we did our rounds, we had our bloods. I'm a Chinese student, so usually in China we don't really get as much hands-on, but we do everything in our head. Like most of the stuff is theoretical. Stuff like taking bloods, cannulas, nurses do them. So when you arrive here and they say put in a cannula, like, oops, I've never put in a cannula, I've never done an anesthetic tap, I've never done this. I know how it's supposed to be done theoretically, but practical wise, the last time I did those things was on a dummy, and now there's literally a patient looking at me, waiting for me to take blood. And the intern that I was with was like, okay, we are gonna do this. She showed me around how to work around the system, where to order bloods, where to order medication, where to get the material and the instruments that you need to do all the minor procedures, and showed me around a bit of the hospital, which was kind of nice. And before lunch my day was literally done and I got to go home. And that's how I started my internship. I started in internal medicine. I got to be exposed to everything that was done there. I was able to do stuff like cannulas were literally something that someone would be like, who is that guy? He's been doing a lot of cannulas. Then I'll help out. So with more practice, you get to actually be exposed to those things. And if you're willing to, you will literally get to do more. I remember the first time I did an NG tube, which was where you actually put the tube in someone's nose and then goes down to the stomach. And the first time I did, I actually asked the nurse, like, I was like, I don't know how to do this, I've never done it, can you walk me through it? And they were so nice, they actually did it. And after that, I was able to do so many by myself. Things like lumbar puncture, you get to do it under supervision because like it's a big procedure in internal medicine, and you actually get to learn and know how to diagnose. Although in internal medicine, the crazy part was doing the morning rounds. The morning grand round is basically where all the doctors, all the specialists, all the students, all the interns in internal medicine, we all gather around and go through patients that were being admitted the previous night or interesting cases. That's when you get grilled, you get killed, and literally you get asked questions that you can't even answer, and some of the medical officers can't also answer, and it's kind of tough. But what's nice about it is that it's an actual learning curve. And in internal medicine, the doctors were nice, everyone was nice, and even when you're on call, you get to choose when to be on call. On call, the recesses, there were there was like a lot of recesses where we've been doing compression throughout the night, trying to actually save someone's life. Some of them it actually went through, some of them it happens, you know. We try our best and hopefully things go right and hopefully you get to save someone's life. Then after internal medicine, I moved to surgery. Surgery was a department that it was chill, like it was that department, it's surgery, and I actually want to be let me not say I want to be an orthopedic surgeon, but one of my choices is to be an orthopedic surgeon. So I was actually looking forward to surgery, especially when one of the days when I was still in internal medicine, I went to A&E and I came across a patient where they were actually putting back their shoulder, the patient's shoulder manually into the socket, like a ball and socket. You know, the shoulder is a ball and socket, so they were like twisting it back into alignment, and they actually asked for my help, and it was so nice. I felt, you know, when you feel so good, the adrenaline rush, I was like, wow, I can't wait to go to surgery. And I went to surgery. Surgery was chilled. General surgery, the people were nice. You get to do rounds with them. You get to go for surgery. You go and observe or even assist if you're lucky, and you get to go and do the dressings. You get to do a lot of INDs, and it was actually nice because you get to do INDs from in all different parts of the body, and they walk you through it. You actually get to get your hands bloody, and the doctors were really nice and telling you how to go about it at this part of the body, how to go about it at this part of the body, and what to do when you get inside, how to drain the place where you did the incision, and how to close up, when to close up, and what kind of dressing to use, which was actually really helpful. And you know, when we in general surgery, you get to do diabetic food, get to clean them, you get to do a lot of dressings. And you know what was nice was because you get to do a lot of different dressings, you get to know which dressing is for this. If there's a burnt patient, this is the dressing that you're gonna do, for how long, when you're gonna be changing. Is it a daily dressing? Are you gonna add honey? Are you gonna just use betadine? And I also went to urology. Urology was nice, where to some extent how I enjoy urology actually was like, I can actually be a urologist. Then I'm like, nah, it's just the people. You're just enjoying the moment. And I went to orthopedics and neurosurgery. Orthopedics, oh my god, it was nice. I loved it. The head of department for orthopedics, the guy was really nice. We got to do amputations of the hands, and we got to do ORIF. ORIF is basically open reduction internal fixation. Yeah, we got to do that in different parts of the body. You got to put nails. It was so nice. Like, I enjoyed my experience in orthopedics. And the nice thing about orthopedics is that you do the surgery, then you follow up the patient, they do recovery, and until they become like, oh good, they will be coming to you he'll be doing the checkups, and it was really nice. And that was my surgical rotation. Oh, I also got to do cardiothoracic surgery. The guy was Chinese, and he got to allow me to do a lot of ICDs, and those were really cool because we used to have a lot of step wound patients, and they require an ICD usually for hemothorax, and it was chilled. The guy was he was good, and those were the departments that were then in surgery. Then after that I went to peds. Oh my god, I don't like peds at all. Like peds is just like guys, peds is the peds. Like the babies were there, the babies were always crying. When you have to put in a cannula or even take bloods from a patient, you have to negotiate with the child, you have to negotiate with the mother, you have to negotiate with the father. It's just crazy. And every procedure that you had to do, the mother is there. Sometimes I would even ask the mothers, like, can you just give us space? And the mother will literally just start crying, and you see when the mother cries, the child cries. So that was my experience in peds. And in peds we had two wards, where one was NICU/SCABU, and the other one was the pediatric ward. The pediatric ward, mostly you come across cases of malnutrition, you come across cases like diarrhea, dehydration, and you come across pneumonia, so forth. Then you go into SCABU. Oh my god, SCABU. Actually, SCABU wasn't as bad as the pediatric ward, because the mothers really want their children to get healed and end up going out of the department and going back home. That's what they want. So they'll literally be like, no, I don't want to be crying, I don't want to be on your way, let me go out. Then they'll go out, you work with the baby, and you'll be there putting a cannula for like 6, okay, I'm exaggerating, I was going to say 6 hours, but you'll be there putting a cannula for 3 to 4 hours with just you and the baby. You'd even go on break and come back again later, so that you just give it time, the veins time to just breathe, you know. And what was weird, when you've tried everything and you can't do anything, you call a specialist or a senior MO. They'll be going for the veins on the head, and you'll be like, oops, okay. That was literally the first time I saw something like that happening, and I was like, oops, okay, this is kind of weird. But yeah, it actually worked. The peds team was really nice, because I think they know and understand how it feels to work there, and that you need a lot of patience, and they were really helpful, like to the best of their abilities. And yeah, it was I don't like peds, but they made the rotation fruitful, and they were teaching, and there was no grand round, but when you're going through their rounds with the specialist or the MO, you got to, you know, ask questions, you got to be taught how to manage the babies, and when you don't have something, what's the alternatives. It was fruitful. And I moved to obstetrics and gynecology. As a guy in medical school, I was like, nah, me peds, sorry, I was like, obs and gynae, never, I'll never do obs and gynae. Then if you ask me the same question now, I think my top options are obstetrics, orthopedics, nephrology. Those are the top 3 that I would go for. If I'm to specialize, I'm gonna go for those 3. Obstetrics and gynecology was my best rotation. I got to deliver babies, both SVT and C-section. Under supervision, we got to see cancer patients, cervical cancer, endometrial cancer, because they actually had a ward called Gynae 2, where it was just for patients who have cancer. They also had a ward for gynae, which is just patients who have gynecological problems, patients who are coming for incomplete abortions, complete abortions, and all those miscarriages. And we also had a ward for antenatal ward, where women who are going to deliver, who are expecting to deliver soon are going to be there. Usually people who are in latent phase are admitted into antenatal, or people are just coming for routine checkups and there's maybe preeclampsia happening and they are there for observations. Then we had postnatal ward, where once you deliver, we take you there, we observe you for a couple of days and then discharge you, take you home. Then we had labor ward, where labor happens. Usually people who are in active phase or people who come in active phase go to labor, you deliver. Then we had theatre, where people are due for surgical procedures, go there. And that was all my internship rotations, and it was crazy, guys. It was the best and I actually enjoyed it, and the experience was good. I was all hands-on, and if you guys still trying to figure out how to choose where to go for internship, I have a video here, and if you guys want to check out my journey in medicine, I have a link here, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good one, and don't forget, stay safe and be good. Till next time, cheers. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are good, and hope you guys are staying safe and staying indoors, not going out when you don't need to, and hope you guys are sanitizing, washing your hands and keeping safe. Don't forget, social distance at least 1 meters away from each other when going out, and don't forget, drink responsibly and avoid large gatherings. And let's get into the video. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about surviving my internship. So in our university we are required to do internship for at least 48 to 52 weeks, where we're required to go to the 4 main departments: internal medicine, surgery, pediatrics, and obstetrics and gynecology, and also the other specialties of those like dermatology, ENT, emergency medicine, and so forth. So surviving internship, guys. So it's been 52 weeks since I've started my internship. I'm done, and I'm even doing some extra days and extra weeks because I have time and corona time, because we can't travel or go anywhere. But as I wait to write my final exams, that's what I'll be doing, going to the hospital. And as the time moves closer to the final exam, I'm literally going to stop going to the hospital and focus on my exams. So how did I survive internship? First thing that I'll always advise someone is, don't pretend like you know. If you don't know, ask for help. If you're not sure, ask for help. I remember when I started, I've now put an NG tube, I've now put a cannula, blood inside an actual patient. And what did I do? I asked for help. I was like, guys, I've never done this before, can you assist me? And they were more than willing to assist in helping and directing me, and now I can say I'm perfect in doing all those things. The second thing that I would always recommend is, don't forget to study. Like, always study as much as you can. When you leave the hospital, don't just say, I'm done for the day, and you go home and you sleep. No, study, put in the work, study as much as you can. If you see a patient, an interesting case, when you get back home, for example, I saw a case of Stevens-Johnson's syndrome, and when I got home, I was like, okay, Stevens-Johnson's syndrome, what is it? I broke it down, I watched videos, I also branched it out to other dermatological problems, and I learned extra works. And the next thing that I would say is, guys, be in the hospital for as long as you can. Like, you're doing internship, and if you can be in the hospital from 8 o'clock until 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. or 5 p.m, do that. Stay in the hospital, be around the nurses, ask them how things are done, get to understand the system, try and learn and practice as much as you can. And you have the patients there, so if you have the patients, just sit down with the patient, go through their history, try and see how they were managing the patient, especially patients that have been in the hospital for a long time. Maybe you might even come across something that wasn't done well, and go and discuss it with the senior MOs or the specialist and get to ask why was it done this way. You have the resources in your vicinity, so why not take advantage and learn, practice as much as you can. I would also advise, take the procedures. If you hear a doctor say, I'm going for op, say, can I tag along, can I come and assist? And you get to assist. You might even end up getting to do one of the procedures by yourself under supervision, which can come in very, very helpful, because the more you do, the more you get exposure, the more you get confidence. So there's this saying that they always bring up: see one, do one, teach one. Try and go with that mentality throughout your internship. Do one, teach one, see one, keep going, like just keep on going. And also advise you guys. I also advise you guys to go on call. Like when you're on call, you get to see when patients come in firsthand. Like, you know, when you're in the wards, you see the patients, but someone has already seen them first. But when you're on call, the first person that they call is you and the person you're with. So if they call you guys, when you guys get there and the person you're with, you get to ask questions. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? For how long are we going to put this patient? The first responder actions that you get to take, you get to learn when you're on call, especially if it's overnight call, weekend calls. Take as many as you can. If you can do 2 a week, do 2 a week, and also add yourself 1 during the weekend. So those are the things that I would recommend. And when you're doing internship in a country that's not yours, try and travel around. You know, self-care is important. You can't just be at the hospital 24/7 because it's going to get to you. There's a lot of psychological things that happen, and sometimes you get to take them home, and it's not good. So self-care, travel, get to know the culture, get to know the language, learn something new. You can't just go to a new country and leave the country without knowing something new. Know something new, try the food. And the next thing that I also try and advise to survive is make friends, have a support system, because guys, it gets hard. I remember sometimes after the hospital, you get to break down, you're like, oh damn, I had a crazy day. But if you have friends, a support system, you get to go sit with them, talk to them about it. You can even laugh about it. Laughing is a defense mechanism that you can use. Not that you're laughing at the patient, but you're laughing the situation out of your system so that you can move on. Those are the methods that I actually used to survive my internship. It's not much, but it's something that you can do, and you don't need to pay money for it to survive internship. And those who are interested in checking out my internship journey, I have a video right here. And those who want to check out my medical journey and how it went about, this is the video to check out. And hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hope you guys have a great one. Till next time. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe, and I hope you guys are staying at home and not going anywhere if you don't need to. And if you're going outside, don't forget to wash your hands every time or sanitize wherever possible, and avoid as much contact to other people as possible. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about studying for final exams in medical school. Yes, the last exams. So what makes this last exams very tricky is because in my university, what happens is that we leave school for a year and go to any hospital or institution for a year to do our internship before we graduate. Then we have to, in the normal circumstances, we have to go back to China and then write our graduation exam. But this year things are a bit different, as we know, because of the coronavirus. And with that in place, what happens is now I have to be studying everything that I've done during my internship and this and that from way back. So with that 1 year of no school, it's a bit tricky writing the final exams because when you're doing internship, you don't really have a lot of time to study. You feel it, you come back home tired, you try and study and so forth. But what I try to do is that every day when I come back from hospital, I at least spend 2 to 3 hours studying everything that I learned from the hospital and adding at least one new thing every time. So it puts me at a higher level to someone who just comes back home and doesn't study. So closer to my final exam, what I did, I stopped going to the hospital completely and focused on my studies. And I was studying with my usual, my iPad Pro and my iPad Pencil, using my laptop, studying notes. And I also had to go refer to all the old PPTs from third year, fourth year. And one of the crazy things is that almost every country has different guidelines. So for example, in Botswana, according to their guidelines, when someone is between 24 weeks and 37 weeks, it's premature labor. Whereas in China, it's something different. When someone is at least 28 weeks to 37 weeks, that's when it's premature labor. So in the exam, it can be a bit tricky when you're putting in the numbers and you end up putting, you know your work, but you just confused the numbers based on the guidelines of that country. So getting back to that system was a little bit tricky, and I always had to go back to my notes and refer, which made everything more tedious. So with that in mind, what I also started doing, I made sure that I printed guys, please don't judge me. I know I'm a paperless student, but this was one of the most important exams, and really paperless student wasn't working at that moment, and I needed to have paper in my hand. So I printed most of the question books, and I started doing that when I was in bed, when I was going to the bathroom, when I was cooking, everywhere. Started revising, and they helped big time. And during the exams, I literally used everything. I imagine I've never used Anki before, but during this final exam, I started using Anki. I actually started noticing that Anki is actually a nice, good platform to use for active recall, because what you do, you type the questions and it strategically gives you the questions back in the form of a flashcard, and then if you answer it wrong, it will come back. You choose for how long, how many days do you want to repeat the question. It's really a cool app. I literally tried Anki for that. I actually used Najib. I used to use Najib, but not almost for everything. But this time I used Najib for almost everything. I used Osmosis. I even signed up for Osmosis. Most of the time I just used the YouTube channel, but this time I signed up for the trial 7 days before the exam. I used Prognosis app. When I'm in bed, I played the medical games, the cases. I literally did everything for my exam. And well, it did pay off. And I was also asking questions from people when I don't understand. I wasn't ashamed to say, "Guy, I don't know, help me." I forgot, help me. I always made sure that I did that. So I think that came in quite handy. So that's basically what I did for the exams. And because we weren't sure about the exam date, you had to be ready almost every day, because they'll tell us ahead of time, but ahead of time can be 2 days, 3 days, you never know. But they gave us a date, which was almost 2 weeks before the exam. I started going back to my old note and revising from there until the day of the exam. And I went and I wrote the exam, and everything actually went quite well. The exams that we have to write or study for is medicine, pediatrics, gynecology and surgery. Gynecology and surgery, it was really, really tricky, and it was the only common thing that was there was ectopic pregnancy. Apart from that, it was totally different, but thank God everything went well and we fully passed, and now I can say a medical graduate. I'm done with school. Well, I'm done for now, because with medicine, there's never the end of studying. You study every day and you just keep on going. Medicine is a practice, so every day you learn something new, and you have to accept when you don't know and try and accustom yourselves to new methods of treating, of teaching, and don't be shy to say I do not know. And hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a good one, and don't forget, stay safe, stay at home. Don't encourage the spread of the coronavirus, and don't forget, sanitize, wash your hands, don't go anywhere if you don't have to. Hope you guys have a good one, and till next time, cheers.
Okay, so today is exam day. Let's get ready, my guy. I make sure that I look good, I make sure that my hair is on point. I put on the exam attire, which is just going to be a white shirt, black trousers and a nice tie, just to wrap things over. Make sure that I'm smooth and clean and ready for the exam. Okay, let's check if those hands are ready for that exam. 1, 2 and 2. Okay, this guy is ready for this exam. Coffee, tastes good. iPad, let's review on this time. Let's go and knock this exam out.
Good morning, guys. I kind of just woke up. It's like around 7 o'clock in the morning, and today is finally exam day. I'm going to be writing my final medical school graduation exam. I'll be done with medical school for some time. So, just gonna go clear the table, make sure that everything is ready for the exam, the internet is good, and do some last minute review. And let's hope it's a good one. I have 2 exams to write. The first one is pediatrics and internal medicine. Then the second one is going to be surgery and obstetrics and gynecology. So hopefully all goes well.
So the first thing that I'm gonna do before my exam, I'm gonna clear everything from the laptop, make sure that my laptop is good to go, and put everything on standby. Then we are required to make sure that our exam station is clean and nothing is on the table that you're going to be writing on. So I'll clear my books and take them away to where I'm going to be reviewing for my exam. Then I'll make sure that there's nothing else on the table. I'm going to be using my mouse and my external keyboard for the exam. Then I'm going to use my stand for my camera to put my phone. That's going to serve as my surveillance for the exam, because it's mandatory to have 2 devices, one being surveillance and the one being surveillance and the other one being the one that you're going to use to write the exam. I make sure that my Wi-Fi is on point, and then I start making my cup of coffee. I'm gonna have myself a black cup of coffee and review my notes for the last time before the exam. And once I'm done with my notes, I'm gonna pack everything and leave them in the kitchen, as my writing station has to be emptied. it's a bit cold in Botswana, so I'm using a blanket to cover myself and be as warm as possible and not to shiver during the exam. And first thing that I'm going to do is clear everything from the screen, then check if the camera is working. And then I make a short prayer, and I'm about to start my exam, my last graduation exam, and let's get to it. Hopefully it was a good one. As I continue writing my paper, I'm done with my first exam, and it wasn't that bad. It was doable, and I'm about to start my second exam, surgery and obstetrics. As you can notice, I stopped using my small keyboard because things were getting a bit hectic there during that exam, but I actually managed.
Okay, so I just finished my last exam, and I would say the first exam was small medicine and pediatrics. It wasn't that bad of an exam, it was doable. But the second one, obstetrics and gynecology and surgery, was a bit tricky. I expected us to have like cases that are quite common during our internship, but it hit us with a surprise. It was totally things that probably you wouldn't see on a daily basis. So wish me luck, hopefully all will go well and the results will come out soon and I'll soon become a doctor.